When I first came to New York City, I was still a senior in high school. I was doing what they called a senior off-campus project for my first semester, and I lived in Manhattan with a friend of mine from high school. Her name was Tina Carey, and we had a one-bedroom floor-through, what they called a railroad flat, on the fifth floor of a five-floor walk-up brownstone. The apartment had a bathtub in the kitchen and a toilet in the closet. And you know how, like I was told, when you go to look at an apartment, you should tap on the walls to make sure that the plaster is solid. And I walked into the apartment when Tina and I went to look at it, and I tapped on the wall in the kitchen and the plaster crumbled. And so Tina and I said, we'll take it. We wanted to turn it into our own place anyway. We'll go get some plasterboard and some spackle, and we'll turn this into our own place. By the time we were done, it looked like modern art, and it cost. The place was really, really cheap. Obviously, only $160 a month, but we spent so much to try to fix it up. The place had no heat. It was roaches everywhere, and Tina's mother was very good friends with a woman named Dolores Hall. Dolores Hall, at that time, was one of the stars of The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, which had just opened on Broadway. And I thought, boy, you know, Tina's got connections. If I can just meet this Dolores Hall, that's gonna... So I started going to see Best Little Whorehouse in Texas every chance I got. Now, granted, I didn't see the whole thing. I only saw the second act, because in those days, what we used to do when you had no money, you would join up with all the people who came out for a cigarette during intermission, and then you would just sort of walk into the theater with them as if you were part of the audience to see the second act. I saw the second act of Whorehouse probably about 40 times. And I really did love the show, and I thought if I could just get to know somebody involved with this show, my career will be made. Well, I never got to meet Dolores Hall. Tina's mother was no help whatsoever. But I did eventually get to meet Tommy Tune, who directed it and choreographed it. And Tommy is a friend of mine who now comes to see my shows. I got to meet a woman named Marta Sanders, who played E. Lois in the original production, and she's one of my very best friends. And I became very good friends with Carol Hall, who wrote the songs for Whorehouse. And in fact, I even directed and created a review of Carol's songs. And Carol and I became really good friends, and I loved working with her. Brilliant woman. And boy, this song from Whorehouse has been going through my mind. Hey, maybe I'll dye my hair. Maybe I'll move somewhere. Maybe I'll get a car, drive so far they'll always track me. I'll bounce right back. Maybe I'll lose some weight. Maybe I'll sleep real late. Maybe I'll clear my junk. Maybe I'll just get drunk on apple wine. Me, I'll be just fine and dandy. Lord, it's like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through tomorrow. Still, I can't let sorrow bring me way down. I'll be fine and dandy. Lord, it's like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through tomorrow. Still, I can't let sorrow bring me way down. Now, Carol told me this phrase, hard candy Christmas, is a phrase that came out of the Depression. See, in Texas during the Depression, you could get 5 pieces of hard candy for 1 penny. And if you were a family, a parent who only had 1 penny, but you had 5 children, you could buy those 5 pieces of hard candy, and each of those kids would have something in their stocking Christmas morning. So that was called a hard candy Christmas. It's not much, but it's something. Hey, maybe I'll learn to sew. Maybe I'll just lie low. Maybe I'll hit the bars. Maybe I'll count the stars until the dawn. Me, I will go on. Maybe I'll settle down. Maybe I'll just leave town. Maybe I'll have some fun. Maybe I'll meet someone and make 'em mine. Me, I'll be fine and dandy. Lord, it's like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through tomorrow. Still I can't let sorrow bring me way down. I'll be fine and dandy. Lord, it's like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through tomorrow. Still I can't let sorrow bring me way down. Now this song, of course, was in our review. And the first time we had our run-through, the three women in the show sang the song as I had directed them to sing it, and it was a slow tempo, because I always thought this was a very poignant song. And Carol said to me after the rehearsal, which she went crazy for, she loved the show, but she said, you know, you can't do Hard Candy Christmas at a slow tempo. She said, if you're singing that song at a slow tempo, you're missing the point of the song. I'll be fine and dandy. It's like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through tomorrow, but I can't let sorrow bring me way down. I'll be fine and dandy. Lord, it's like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through tomorrow. Still I can't let sorrow bring me way down.